The Logitech Brio 4K webcam is a perfect addition to your live streaming setup. Affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Mad channel, and oh yes, we're talking about Ghostbusters once again, because this movie, my friends, for the 15 months that it's been a thing, well, more like 16 months since the first trailer dropped, which I can't believe has been that long since so many fans had their dreams crushed of a proper remake. We know a lot about this movie, but it continues to provide us with hours upon hours of entertainment. And the reason why is because people keep talking about it. I wouldn't talk about it if other people weren't talking about it. So, quite frankly, thank you. Because I always enjoy talking about this movie. So this is funny, because Sigourney Weaver finally, after a year of the film's release, which keep in mind, I think it opened like 7/11/2017, or somewhere in there. It opened up last year, right around the same time. And Sigourney Weaver has chimed in saying that it was childish and cruel, some of the Ghostbusters reboot backlash, right? And look, and I'm not gonna lie, there was some stuff that I read that was childish and that was cruel, and those people are limp dick chuckle fucks for making those kind of comments. They are. There wasn't providing anything of substantive value in their criticism. They were just being trolling assholes, which again is their right. It's the internet. But at the same time, there were so many valid complaints about Ghostbusters that were completely chalked up to being cruel and childish, that they never, ever got the proper response that they deserved, considering, well, we all know how the movie turned out. So let's take a look at this here. Sigourney Weaver ain't afraid no internet commentators, probably because Sigourney Weaver is in her late 60s and doesn't go on the internet. Can't say I blame her. The Ghostbusters actress who starred the 1984 original as Dana tells EW she was shocked by the uproar over the female-fronted 2016 reboot, which starred Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, and Melissa McCarthy. Funny how Melissa McCarthy was last in that statement. Melissa McCarthy was the top billed actress in the film, followed by Kristen Wiig, then Kate McKinnon, and then Leslie Jones. Given the fact that Leslie Jones had probably the worst performance in the movie, she should technically be last. Kate McKinnon was the most loved afterwards, so she probably should be first, but you know what? That's splitting hairs over nothing, to be fair. Weaver says she couldn't understand why the idea of the movie attracted an intensely negative response, largely from male fans of the original, even before it hit theaters. Well, I mean, if you've, and I'm just going to say it, and this might get me some flack in the comments, but if you've watched my, let's say, 500 previous videos on Ghostbusters, you know precisely why it happened. You know precisely why it happened. It had nothing to do with the fact that it starred 4 women. Most people didn't give a shit that it starred 4 women, right? People got mad at it because I'll just for one, I'm just gonna put out like the first nitpick. All right, the first nitpick was in that first teaser trailer when it was all like 30 years ago, 4 scientists saved the city, and then fans were quick to point out, wait. No, 30 years ago, it was 3 scientists and a dude who saved the city. And the reason why that's important is because Winston Zedmore's character was meant to be the straight man. He was meant to be the audience. He was meant to be those of us who weren't Venkman or Stantz or Spangler. He was the one who was meant to go in there and be like, this is a fucking job, man. Like, I'm just going to do it. You know, if there's a, what's it saying? If there's a paycheck involved, you know, I'll believe whatever you want, basically. And that's Winston's approach to it. And that's also one of the key facets of this being an average blue-collar job. You know, like, it's just a workman comedy. It's exterminators that fight ghosts. That's the premise, but it's still handled straightforward. The reboot didn't do that at all. And that's one of the reasons why it was just completely shit on. Now, she says here, I was very surprised by the backlash. I can't begin to interpret it. Frankly, I thought it was very childish and cruel. I guess if you saw the movie as a kid, you would feel possessive over it, but come on, things change. Women are at the table and there's plenty of projects to go around. Sure. And no one is saying that there shouldn't be plenty of projects to go around for women. No one is saying that women shouldn't have the opportunity to make those kind of movies. But this movie, and it's not a male childhood possessiveness over it. It's the idea of what was pushed forward. It was the fact that this movie, which you claim to like, you were even in it for the cameo appearance at the end, it stopped every 10 to 15 minutes, pretty much like you could set your clock by it, just to reach in its ass pull out nostalgia, open your mouth, and then cram it down your maw. It wanted to be the original without ever letting it be original. This is the thing. If the movie would have been called Ghostbusters and it would have had the same plot line, it would have had all the same shit, but it would have not used nostalgia as a selling point, or in some cases as like a plot device, right? Then it would probably have fared better because it was being treated as its own original entity with this new name. Instead, Paul Feig, who had to be asked 3 times to even remotely make the film, he didn't care. He just wanted to do a movie that would be done his way. Amy Pascal bent over backwards, let him get away with it, and at the end, it sucked. Now, Weaver, who appeared in a cameo at the end of the 2016 version, also praised the actresses for their work in leading the franchise's return, saying, "It was a good movie, I thought. They were splendid in it. No one's taking away the original, so I'll never quite be able to understand what happened, except that it was unfortunate." And this is where, if I had the opportunity to meet Miss Weaver and have a one-on-one conversation, I could walk her through what went wrong. And everything would fall back on not only the studio and how they handled the criticism, the fact that it was put on by movie bloggers and how they were basically decrying any detractors as haters or as sexist or misogynists, how Paul Feig went out there, made constant references to this shit, even after the film's release, after its failure. He still blamed everybody but his own horrible script and horrible directing and horrible film overall. Melissa McCarthy said these are all basement, like people who live in their mother's basements, and said people who could give valid criticism. I mean, never mind the fact that even if you go back and you watch the movie, like there's a subplot in there about her getting wonton soup, and that's like a running gag in the movie. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's not even remotely funny. Things like that were just kind of thrown in to pad out time from this otherwise vapid film were very apparent to the cast and the crew. Now, I can understand why Sigourney might like it. I'm not saying there weren't redeeming qualities to the movie to some extent. Every time I watch it, and I've seen it twice. Every time I think about it, I should say, if I'm at the store and I'm looking through the DVD section and I see it sitting there for like $10 on Blu-ray, it calls to me. It beckons to me. Matt, buy me. I swear, this time I'll be good. I keep thinking that to myself because deep down inside, I fully admit I want it to be good. I want it to be not even like the original. I'll take Ghostbusters 2, and I love Ghostbusters 2. Like, I can understand why people don't like it, but I do. And so it's like, I want it to be good, but it never is that good. It never can be, because what was there wasn't the heart of the idea of the film. It was a cheap reboot cash grab from a director who didn't want to be there in the first place, but probably felt that he got bullied into it under the promise of making his own movies under Sony. Let's be fair, that's probably what it was. Now, still, the actress says that the controversy may have been driven by the freedom of being anonymous on social media, which Weaver avoids. I think it might have been more to do with the internet and showing your secret small self on the internet in a way that you'd be embarrassed if you were out at a bar with friends acting like a jerk. So I don't know. I don't think this is the end of this kind of thing, because it's happening in so many areas, personal and professional, to all kinds of businesses. She sighs. I thought it was really sad that it happened to that project, but I think they've all moved on, so hopefully everyone learned something from that. And again, it all goes back to, like, she's not on social media, okay? So she's not looking at probably what Paul Feig and Melissa McCarthy in the studio, how they responded. She's not going to the movie blogs and seeing how they called any detractor sexist, misogynistic, so on and so forth. Like, she's not looking at any of those things because she's not actively engaged. And that's part of the biggest problem when it comes to this quote-unquote culture war we find ourselves in. And let's be fair here, Ghostbusters was kind of part of that fucking culture war, you know? It was part of that culture war as a whole because of the battles that came from it. Milo getting suspended from Twitter because he was trolling Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones then being hacked by someone who was mad at Twitter, for banning Milo, and therefore got into her account and found some very revealing photographs that are never gonna leave my brain. Like, Ghostbusters was part of a larger culture war. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with left versus right politics. What it has to do is with a company a movie studio that couldn't fathom the idea that their movie was not going to do well. And so instead of realizing that they made a mistake hiring the person they hired to reboot it, and going with the originals, because remember, Dan Aykroyd destroyed this movie last month, and then of course he backtracked his statements when Sony was like, "Don't you say anything negative about Paul Feig," right? Like, you know, he backtracked his statements a bit, but you could pretty much tell what Dan was saying was pretty accurate. You know, him coming out and making those claims against Paul Feig and the extensiveness of the reshoots and how they didn't listen to any of the film's, you know, original creators and whatnot, and that's proved in the Sony email hack that are on WikiLeaks. I'd recommend Midnight's Edge's video about it because they go into further detail, and it shows you precisely how this movie fell apart from the pre-production stage. And now we're seeing one of the stars who clearly doesn't engage in any of this online culture war coming out and again not understanding why things happen the way that they happen because they don't have the proper context. And I have to ask myself sometimes if we're ever actually going to be able to provide them with the proper context, because part of me is like, they don't want to fucking learn. And if they don't want to learn, if they don't want to listen, then we're stuck out here all on our own, always being attacked for things that we are maybe validly criticizing simply because other people don't want to take the fucking 2 seconds to do their own proper goddamn research. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. If you guys liked it, be sure to toss it a thumbs up, slap on that subscribe because I post new content pretty much every single day. Also, live streams 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Sunday through Wednesday, and probably some extra days in between. If you guys want to support the channel, check out the Amazon affiliate link that was posted in the beginning, Patreon, PayPal, anything really helps out right now. But regardless, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being here. I'll see you later. Have yourself a great day. Peace out.